The Resident Evil series went through reboots that refreshed it every now and then and kept it alive, and after many games following the Resident Evil 4 blueprint, it was time to freshen things up.
Go tell Andrew. Go tell Andrew. Go tell Andrew that everybody's.
The game holds up amazingly even after 8 years since its release. It mainly takes place in the Baker house, which contains many different locations that all have their unique environments and details. Some are claustrophobic while others are vast and open, but still retain the horror vibe the game aims for. This game is a solid example of how light alone can make or break a game. It's so well done, areas are well lit so naturally, and it's just a revolutionary masterpiece. As mentioned before, the game's primary theme is horror. The previous games did have horror, but not as much as this one. One of the main things you'll notice is that this game is in first person, and honestly, it's an amazing decision. In first person, the game feels more personal and your view is limited. In Resident Evil 7, you feel more vulnerable. You're not some badass trained man anymore. You're just an ordinary man who may or may not be equipped for the task at hand. Most of the time, I found myself hiding and trying to evade enemies rather than face them head on. The game's horror feels natural, not forced, and very gory and unique. So in games like these, you always have to stay on your guard and expect the unexpected. I know what I'm doing, so it's just like whoa! Moving on, Resident Evil 7 of course still follows the series' identity, which is not only horror but survival horror. There are just a few enemy types, as far as I can remember only 2, but each of them has different variations, which encourages using different weapons depending on your target. The game has survival mechanics and retains many of the core Resident Evil features like combining items and inventory management, but due to the game's limited focus on combat, the inventory was very limited, and I've always faced difficulties managing essential items with weapons. It also has puzzles. Some are simple and some are challenging, but nothing too crazy about them. And the final thing I want to talk about is the level design. It's done cleverly. You can unlock shortcuts to areas the further you progress into the story. So when you go back for collectibles or anything, you don't have to go through the same long way over and over again. The story is about Ethan. Ethan's wife disappeared on a work trip, and after a long time, he assumed she had died. However, 3 years after her disappearance, he receives a video from his wife asking him to stay away from wherever she was at. Ethan figures out the location and arrives at the baker's house, where he finds Mia. As they were exiting, Mia went crazy and tried to kill him. She eventually faints and the couple gets dragged by Daddy Baker into the family, and everything takes off from there. The story is paced perfectly. Every member of the family is unique, and the game's plot twists are very unpredictable. Even outside characters like Zoe, who calls you on the phone and gives you instructions, feel like they matter. Resident Evil 7 saved the franchise in a way. It gave it a new blueprint to follow and expand on, and for that, it deserves a 9.4 out of 10.